This is an amazing opportunity for me to be able to have this room full of people that I can say thank you to. I feel like this is really just the beginning of me being able to give back. So I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to so many of you that would have been very difficult to reach individually if not for this event. So people who know me get scared of the clipboard, but this is here to protect you. I've been given a set amount of time, so I tried to write this out so I could. It looks like a lot. I'll try. I'll be good. They said there's a little wiggle room, but you guys all did hear. My name is Shawna. I am the mother of 3 children. I have a 14-year-old son, an almost 12-year-old daughter, and a 9-year-old son. I collectively call them the Rowdies, and that's where I am. I'm also a graduating senior in the Soil and Crops Department of CSU with a minor in organic agriculture. Before we go very far, I wanted to ask everybody here a couple of questions. I feel like I'm going to be pretty vulnerable up here on the stage, and I'm kind of asking you to do the same. So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you were or are a single mother. Thank you. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if your mother was, or if you were raised by a single parent. And now I'm going to ask you to raise your hand if you didn't raise your hand to either of those. And it's you people in the last category that I'm really reaching out to today or want to thank, because I think part of my story of how I got to be here on stage begins with that category. I'm already going to go off script. But it's because I didn't have that empathy for people before I got here. I actually judged single mothers, especially divorced single mothers, very harshly, inwardly and outwardly. And I think that that's a big part of my story is why I'm here, is because there was a lot for me to learn. And now as I'm standing up here, I know that behind each one of those people is a story. And that story matters, and it's important, and I can never judge that. So I just want to say thank you, certainly to all of you, but especially to the women who have a heart for those that they've never experienced this from. So thank you all. And included in that thanks is the thanks from all of the WomenGive recipients. Like Danette said, those that came before and those that are coming forward, I think I can honestly say thank you on behalf of all of them. So here I am. I have now been raising my children independently for almost 7 years. Thank you for not judging me the way that I used to judge others. I sometimes wonder if part of this journey that we're on, this life, is part of those misconceptions, is learning to ask more for empathy, ask more for people's story. And now I don't really wonder that anymore. I know it's true. We're all here for something greater. Just this morning, I had a realization that I admitted to myself for the first time, and now I'm going to really take it out here and admit it to the 1,200 of you that are here. So just trying it out for the first time, but please bear with me and be kind. But I had to admit to myself that these last 4 years, actually probably 7 years, have been the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. And up until this morning, I'm not sure if you had even asked me yesterday if I would have agreed. It has been difficult. It has been trying. It has been on my knees. It has been rejoiceful, all of those things. But until this morning, I'm not sure I could say I wouldn't have traded it for the world. But I'm better for it, and my family's better for it. And so that was my realization this morning. And so part of that, I feel like I'm supposed to be up here talking about my education. I'm supposed to be up here talking about my scholarships, and I am, and I will, but I think that there's a much bigger story here besides, I don't want to say just that component, but besides that component. And also to say that this is only my story. I don't want to imply at all that women, single mothers out there at all deserved this or needed this or whatever it is that they're going through. I just really want to make it sure that this is my personal story and where I've come through this. Initially, so the beginning of my story is I was divorced about 7 years ago. And I was a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my 3 children, which is not a career I would recommend for single parents. There's not a lot of future or financial security in that. So if anybody's thinking of going that route, maybe not. So after my divorce, my goal was to keep everything as normal as possible. Okay, I'm going to homeschool the kids. I'm going to keep, they were still pretty little at that time, and it was the mantra in my head was make it look the same so that they're not really going to notice anything. Part of what I did with that is I took a job on a farm where I would receive room and board for working on the farm, and I could still be home with my kids. And I think a lot of that happens after a divorce or whatever the event is that starts the ball rolling, so to say, is that this huge shot of adrenaline that runs through you. And that shot of adrenaline can last for years, is what I learned. But what it does is you just keep moving, and eventually you have to come up for air. And that happened for me after several years of working on this farm. Several things happened. One was the farm was put up for sale. Another was I became really interested in the nutritional quality of the food that I was growing. And I started doing my own research, and I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to be able to ensure a healthy future food-wise for not only the people we were growing food for, but people in general. So a lot of these things happened where I lost my home, I lost that stability, but I also had this vision planted. And after that time, my children and I were kind of jumping around in there's a lot of people to tell this to. You guys ready? Okay. I might cry, but my goal is to stay coherent through it. So we were living in RVs that friends had on their properties. So that is what we did for several months. And these are the times when I'm talking about is you come up for air and you look around and you say, how did I get here? Is this my life? Is this? And the question I was asking was, why me? Why did I end up like this? I'm intelligent, I'm driven, all of these things. I love my children, I'm motivated. Why me? And it started to change for me, though. I said, well, why not me? Why not me in the sense of, if I am all those things, who would I wish this on? Would I wish this on somebody who maybe couldn't pull it together, couldn't go through? And then I also changed the why not me to well, why couldn't it be better? Why not me to be the one that goes to school and graduates? Why not me to be the one that makes a change in the world? But the other side of that I noticed, I'm not keeping track of time. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I tried, this was for you guys, but it's not helping. So why not me? But then I realized it's not just about attitude. There's this mentality that you can do it, and if you set your mind to it, you can do it. And I believe that. I believe so much has to do with your attitude and your perseverance and your natural abilities and your desire. But there comes a time when there's a reality that it doesn't matter how optimistic you are. The reality is I have 3 children that need to eat, that need a home, and bless their hearts, most of my friends were homeschooling stay-at-home mothers. So the advice I would get, these are real advice, real things that I heard. One was I had a friend say, have you thought about getting a job? And I had said, yeah, I have. That did occur to me. And another friend I had with this great, amazing amount of support, she said, I will drive your children to and from school each day. So I have 3 children, and she has 3 children, and I said, sweetheart, you don't have enough seats in your car. Like, I appreciate the support, like the really wanting to support that, but the reality is that it wouldn't work. And so I'm also a member of Project Self-Sufficiency, but I don't want to tell you how many times I signed up to go to the informational meeting and then didn't go. Because I knew I needed help, but I didn't want help. I wanted to do it by myself. I had so much pride, and there was so much shame, and there were so many things all caught up in that I would sign up and then not go. And I'd be like, I can just do it. Like, if I just try hard enough, I'll do it. Like, I can do it. And I couldn't. So there came a time when I had to realize that I needed help. I feel like it's like an AA meeting. Like, not that kind of help. I needed some practical help from somebody who's been there and somebody knows what that looks like. So I did end up going. And from that, I have received amazing practical support. One of those things is in the form of the WomenGive scholarships for childcare. This is anybody like from CSU scheduling would be really interesting because these required courses as you're going through school, you have a required course that is a prerequisite for the next course, and they are always either at 8 in the morning or at 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, okay, so I gotta get the kids to school and they gotta come home. So the child care scholarship in the most practical way allowed me to get to those classes, to get my prerequisites for the next class so that I could graduate in a timely manner. So not only is it the going to school and doing well, but it's also to be able to do it in a timely manner. This could have been drawn out. I'll be graduating in 4 years. This could very easily have been 6 or 8 years if there wasn't practical support. So that to me has been just amazing. I don't know where I am here. Let's see. Oh, good, we're on page 3. The other side of that is what I realized was in order for me to be able to accept help, I had a friend once also, this was also a sweet friend, who said, God wants to help you, or however form your help comes, and if you won't accept it, if it's even your community wants to help you, your family wants to help you, people want to help you, if you won't accept it, we can't. Like, do you also see like there's another side of this? And in my mind that had never made sense. It was always just like, no, I'll do it myself. No, I'll do it myself. And what I realized is that there are 2 sides to this. In order to be able to give generously, there has to be somebody on the receiving end. And not that I wish anybody stays at the receiving end. I certainly I believe that there are seasons. But you can't have one without the other. There can't be a need to be relieved without it being there. So I've been able to embrace the season of my life. Instead of feeling so embarrassed or shameful or so needy, I've been, you know what? Through my need, people have been able to give. And I hope that makes sense. And I hope that it also makes sense that I'm not saying like I'm at all encouraging there to be a level of poverty so that we can all be generous. But I want to encourage the seasonality. And also I feel like standing here as the 100th recipient of a scholarship, I'm able to say, I'm coming out of that area of need, and I even feel like today maybe is that first step of where I'm able to give back, where I'm able to say, yes, here's my story, and I want to share that with you. So scholarships have been an amazingly practical support of my education. But on the other side of that, this is one other thing that really surprised me is family and friend support have been amazing. And I couldn't do them without that. But this is what really got me, is that there were people who didn't know me that were giving money. They were sending me notes. They were checking on me. And they had decided that without knowing a thing about me, that I was worth investing in. Without knowing a thing about my children, it was worth it for them. And so on those days when I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't know. And why? Like, why do I even want to continue? The support of people that I didn't know turned out to be the support that actually made me continue. And that was, again, just another eye-opening experience for me of, wow, like, well, I can't wait to be on the other end of that. So I'm going to finish this up in this, just a little, it's not that big of an activity. You don't have to move or anything. It's more of like a mind activity. So I'm standing up here right now feeling very blessed and very much in gratitude for the support of all of you. And for a moment, I'd like to switch that. And I'd like everybody who has contributed to my success to all of a sudden realize that we're partners from like here on out. Everything that I do from here on out is something we're doing together. Everything that my children accomplish from here on out is something that we're doing together. So whether or not I choose to become part of the solution to feeding a growing population, we're going to do that together. Whether or not I choose to be part of research on a higher nutritional standard for our food supply, we're doing that together. Whether or not I choose to branch out and start a farm with a ministry-based, what would be the word for that? A ministry-based, not therapeutic. Anyway, if I choose to do that, we're partners. So instead of me receiving, I'm so excited to be on this side and to be able to say, like, from here on out, we're partners. Like, when you give, you support, and I'm just one person. Like, I am one person who has received this generosity. So there will be, when I graduate, there will be 100 women. And if you look at this room and you just start multiplying that, it blows my mind. And I just really, really want to say thank you to all of you. And I am so excited to be partners with you. And I'm so excited to also begin to take those steps to be on the other side of this equation and be able to start giving back. So thank you all very much.